Guys, we're back for another exciting episode of the hashtag Wednesday Match Play, and I am pumped for tonight's show because we got golf.com on the show. Now, it's weird. You would think golf.com, it's a pretty big organization. They've got an awesome website, a ton of content. We're going to talk about some of that content because our guest tonight is one of those people producing that content. But as always on the hashtag Wednesday Match Plays, you can catch us live here on YouTube on Wednesday nights, but you got a new place to check us out: iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher. We have joined the Golf Radio Network and are excited to be in all of the podcast opportunities for you. So any way that you want to obtain this content, I might just start, live streaming this to Facebook before too long, just so you have even more opportunities to get a hold of the show. But tonight we've got an awesome guest joining us. And whenever I found out she was coming on the show, I got a little excited because I followed her content online for quite some time, and golf.com's obviously, it's golf.com. So it's pretty excited to have her on. Before I try to explain all the things that she does, she's young and she has a laundry list of things that she's been involved with. And the first thing that I'm going to have her do is tell us how to pronounce her last name. But we have Marika with us from golf.com. So Marika, welcome to the hashtag Wednesday Match Play.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, okay, tell us how you pronounce the name. Like you tried before we went live, and it's not there. I can't do it.
I tried to teach you and goad you into it, but no, you weren't having any of it, Ricky. It's Washchyshyn, and as I said to you, and I say to everyone, it looks way scarier than it is. It's much more simpler to pronounce than you think it is. Washchyshyn. Okay,
I'm probably not going to remember that, but that's okay. So tell us what you do. You work for golf.com, but you've been around and for quite a while. But looking at your stuff online, like you've got a pretty good education background. You've done a lot. So what's your role in your current capacity at golf.com?
So my current role is senior multimedia producer at golf.com, which is just a fancy way of saying I kind of do whatever my bosses want me to do, which is great because it means that my days are always different. Today was a good example where I came into work and I was working on just producing some content for the US Open, which is obviously next week, and was called down to do a shoot at Golf and Body, which is this gym simulator experience in New York City. With Paige Sporanic, who is, of course, one of the preeminent golf social media ladies out there right now, and then rushed back to the office, did a couple of articles, and then rushed back home to do this. So I travel a bit, I shoot video, I edit video, I write, I edit print copy, the gamut. Throw something at me and I'll try to get my hands on it and have some fun with it.
So Paige needs to come on the show. So she lives part-time in Scottsdale, and she does a lot of practice at Papago Golf Club, which is Papago Golf Course, which is one of my favorite golf courses in Scottsdale, Phoenix. So that's cool. I saw you posted that on Twitter that you were hanging out with her. So yeah, she is like super duper popular on social, and she's a good player too. So maybe we can figure out a way to get her on the show.
You actually mentioned Papago today. Someone had asked her over our Facebook broadcast, what's one of your favorite courses to play, and she mentioned that. So that's awesome. There you go. It is true.
The next time you're in Scottsdale, Phoenix, play it. Like it's just a parkland style. They used to host some events, and it is just, and it's not easy either. Like it is a good freaking golf course. Like it is just fun. It's affordable. Yeah, like the range. Like how most ranges now they have like pyramids of golf balls, and it's all like organized. No, you get tokens, and you got to put them into a little machine, and they spit out like it's the real deal. So
that's how I grew up playing golf. So that's what I'm into.
So golf.com, give us an overview of what golf.com is all about and just kind of the elevator pitch of what golf.com is.
Sure. Well, golf.com, we like to call ourselves your number one place for everything you need to know about the game, tours and news, instruction, equipment. We're your go-to. Our URL is golf.com. And so we try to give our audience a little bit of everything and some fun on the side as well. We have a couple of really great verticals going. We have our extra spin vertical, which is kind of just some fun stuff similar to SI's Extra Mustard. We are a division of SI. We have a couple of live video properties like Golf Live, which is our partnership with Callaway. I host a series called Golf Today, which is our partnership with the USGA. And of course, our courses and travel are second to none. Our equipment is top of the line content, and our top 100 teachers in the instruction side always offer us some really great stuff, including our app, which is Fix Finder. So some really quick, digestible tips for the golf course. You can pull out your phone when you're on the range. If you're playing with a foursome, that sort of is okay with having phones out on the course. You can, if you're stuck pull that out there. But yeah, we try to really deliver breaking news, long features, photos, videos, podcasts. My colleagues are doing some really great stuff at Golf Magazine, golf.com, and we're pretty proud that we have it all under the umbrella of golf.com.
So speaking about those top 100 teachers, it's always fun for me to flip through and see those guys that you feature, because I know a lot of those guys being in the golf space, right? So it's always fun to see names of people that I know, and I'll always like take a picture and tweet them and be like, hey, good article in Golf Magazine. So that's really cool that you do that. So now, earlier this year, I think you got the chance to play a round of golf at a pretty popular golf course. You shot 134, if I remember that article correctly. So tell me more about that. Like, I mean, my goodness, what a cool opportunity that had to be.
Yeah, I mean, the whole week was just surreal. I'll back it up a little bit. This was my first Masters at Augusta. I covered 2 previously from my couch. And I just felt so blessed to be there and sort of experiencing the course and the history. You know, not forget about being a golf fan, just being a sports fan. You know Augusta, you know the Masters, you know that there's so much history and just the gravity of the place. So that in itself, the whole week was sort of just a blur. But then, of course, there is a media lottery that happens. And if you have a chance and if you win, you're not allowed to enter again for 7 years. So I'm done now until 2024. But my name was picked, and my colleague actually went to go and check the names when they announced them on Friday afternoon. And when he came back and said, you know, we got 1 from our team, and he pointed at me, I actually thought he was messing with me. And I got really angry in the media center. I was like, that's not funny. You know, I'm probably, definitely the highest handicapper of our group. I did not play collegiate. I did not play high school. And it didn't matter. I had so much fun. The whole day was surreal. You get to drive right up Magnolia Lane. You get to share a champion's locker. I got Mike Weir, which was like me geeking out and all.
I was going to say, yeah.
all my Canadian excitement. And the guys that I played with, everyone had first tee jitters. I didn't whiff off the first tee, which was great. But it was just, the experience of being there on its own was amazing. And then the fact that I'm one and done. Like, I never have to go back to Augusta for the rest of my life because I did it, right? So tough course. It's everything that everybody says about the elevation is totally true. You're burnt out by the end of it. But yeah, I made a pledge to myself that I was going to play my game, count every shot, because I wanted to know what I did. And I'm very pleased. I played better golf than I have in the past. Didn't score well, but I actually played and I hit some nice shots. I hit some not great shots. But that's golf. And it really, as I wrote in that piece, sort of took me back to what the game is all about. Enjoying a round, a nice walk, the company of your peers, and a beautiful course. And that's exactly what it was and what I took it for. Just happened to have the cachet of it being one of probably the best, nicest course in the world. So
that's awesome. I'm playing the old course in August, and it's going to be probably a very similar experience. Like, I've never been there before, and I think I'm as excited to go and have a beer at the Jigger Inn after my round as I am about playing the golf course. But I can imagine it'll be a similar experience.
Yeah, I mean, we went into T-Bones after. You have to do when you're in the neighborhood, you have to do as the locals would or as the tour pros would, I guess.
When in Rome, as they like to say. So I dig that. Now, you're around tour players and golf celebrities all the time. Do you ever get nervous when somebody walks by you, like, I don't know, Tiger?
So I've never actually met him, but I got to cover his book signing in New York when I think that was in March. And yeah, that was a little bit of a surreal moment. The only other person I've ever really gotten nervous around was probably Adam Scott, and that's just because he's handsome, and I'm going to say that and be proud of that and just be a little bit like, oh my God. But no, you know what? I think that just because I'm not necessarily a golf fan first, I'm a journalist first, you just sort of get used to treating them like people and having conversations with them like they're regular people. Now, of course, you respect them and their craft, but I try to look at all the interviews that I do as, tell me about yourself and let's get comfortable and not necessarily put them up on a pedestal, because a lot of the time they want to be treated like regular people too.
That's awesome. Well, Tiger is, he's all around me. I'm his biggest fan. One of the questions in your back nine in a little bit revolves around Tiger, and you need to be real careful how you answer that question, but you'll know what that question is when we get to it.
Okay.
Now, a lot of the time, Eat Sleep Golf does a really good job of sending in more questions than I have, and they did it again this week. I have a ton of questions from those guys. The hashtag Wednesday Match Play is always presented by Eat Sleep Golf, and this is a good question. So I don't know anything about Golf Live, but you've apparently done a lot of interviews with Golf Live, and I need to look more into this because that sounds like something that I do, interviews. Dig that. What is been your most memorable interview that you've had to date?
Specifically to Golf Live or just in general?
Just Golf Live, yeah.
Oh, goodness. That's a good question. Ooh. I think that, goodness. I think the one that I've had the most fun with was a couple weeks ago. I was in Mexico City for the Lorena Ochoa match play. And for a number of reasons, that tournament felt special to me. But one of the things that we did that we aired on Golf Live was sort of a round playing with and following the Jutanagarn sisters, Eria and Moria. And the two of them had to face each other in the second round of the match play, which was really unfortunate because they're both excellent players. And as sisters, you know, they want to support each other. But because of various situations with broadcast obligations not having to be met, we were able to follow them around and actually film them while they were playing, which just made the interview much better to actually see them playing each other. But then it was just fun to have the two sisters sort of like bouncing off of each other and to get to know two players who maybe aren't as well known to North Americans as they are at home was special, and to sort of tell that story. So, I mean, there's too many to name, but that one sort of sticks out to me as one of the most fun.
That's really cool. I used to be involved with the Spirit International. It's an amateur golf tournament that's biannual, like Lexi Thompson and Kelly Craft and some pretty big names. So before they were, you know, big names came through that. So I can totally relate to that. That's really cool. So you mentioned the U.S. Open. That's coming up next week. Will you be attending, and what players do you think are best suited for a course that has knee-high rough? Literally, like knee-high rough.
I mean, that's why they're the pros and we're not. But I will be attending. Our crew is headed out on various days next week, but I'm heading out there Monday. Looking forward to it. I've never been out to the Midwest before. I've sort of driven through Milwaukee, but it'll be cool to explore a new part of the country. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I think that course, because people know so little about it, the pros have been going out there and practicing, but really it's been untested in this kind of a stature of a tournament. It obviously hosted the 2011 U.S. Amateur, so it's had a USGA event, but obviously U.S. Open is a whole different ballgame. Obviously, I think it's going to favor the long hitters. I would be kidding you if I didn't think that Dustin Johnson was going to play well there, especially given his performance at Chambers Bay, which there's been a lot of parallels drawn between those two courses. I would like to see Spieth sort of find some magic there, also given his play at Chambers Bay. But I don't necessarily think, I think you're going to need a really tight short game, because everything I've heard about the course, there's a lot of undulation. The bunkers are a nightmare. You don't want to be in these kettle moraine, glacier, weird shaped bunkers that are going to be out there. So it's definitely going to be an interesting setup, and I think it'll make for an exciting week.
Awesome. And Tiger's not playing, so I'll be on the golf course during that, and I'll look to see who won. But I don't watch golf if Tiger's not playing, so I don't watch much golf. But I know what's going on. I pay enough attention because of the golf community. I have to.
I promise it's good. It's good. I mean, obviously golf loves Tiger and Tiger loves golf, but I promise you, for the last 3 years, it has been very good. It has been.
I'm a golfer first, I'm a Tiger fan second, and a golf fan third. It's all golf. I mean, it's still all golf.
That's
but
fair.
I start with, I'd rather play than anything. So just happened a few days ago. How did you celebrate Women's Golf Day?
Oh, well, I didn't get to play. Unfortunately, it was a busy day at work, but we did host one of the ambassadors, Cynthia Howard, on Golf Live. And we had her come in and talk about promoting the women's game at the grassroots level. I made sure that my Twitter feed was totally full of the stuff that I have covered for women's golf or the stories that I've heard about women in golf. And what was really nice about that Golf Live interview was it was our host, Jessica Marksbury, who's fantastic and an excellent golfer and a wonderful human being. But then also Cynthia and myself. And so having 3 women in our studios was, I think, testament to sort of not how far our brand has come, but also, you know, how we're improving, getting a little bit more gender parity in terms of coverage of it. I think there's obviously still miles to be covered with certain things, but seeing, I think for me, seeing the amount of activity that was happening on Twitter about it, you know, tour players retweeting things, club professionals, courses, you know, there was so much more. There was so much more to celebrate, I think, this year, it being its second year and doing so well. Last year was a little bit like I had no idea that this was happening and just happened to sign up for an event last minute. And compared to this year, it's just been night and day. People are talking about it. They're excited. Our audiences were sharing things, which is always really refreshing to see, given that, you know, generally we cater to a more male audience. And yeah, I didn't get it to play. I haven't played since Augusta. I'm like trying to be picky, you know, about where I play next. Does that sound really pretentious of me? I don't know.
We had some fun things planned at Tiburon, and then we got 7 inches of rain. So not anyone played Tiburon on Women's Golf Day, but we did have some things planned. So that goes a little far. Now, you produce a ton of awesome content on golf.com. Are you coming up with all of that stuff by yourself, or do you have someone feeding you topics and saying, hey, go write about this and write about that?
Gosh, no. I mean, I am every once in a while I'll come up with a great idea, I think, but my colleagues are the brainchildren behind that. I work with some super talented people. Our staff producer, Josh, runs the ship. Our social media our social media editor, Sean, has put all of our stuff out there for the masses in a way that has not been done before. Our fearless leader, Alan Bastable, is also at the helm. Sean Zock produces some excellent podcasts and did, I don't know if you read it, if you're a Tiger fan, I think you probably did, the oral history of the 97 Masters. My colleague Kylie kind of runs the courses and travel and has really expanded that. And, you know, we're very, very lucky to have some talented, young, eager people. My coworker Kevin runs equipment stuff with our equipment editor Rob from the magazine. So it's truly a team effort. I can't say enough about how wonderful the people I work with are. And I think it shows in the content that we have. I think, you know, when you gel with people and when you feed off of each other, it shows. The proof is in the pudding.
I just had an idea. Let's have like a month where every Wednesday match play has someone from golf.com, because you just named a whole bunch of names that are super familiar. That'd be so fun. Like each week, like have a month dedicated to golf.com. That'd be awesome.
I'm happy to pass on the invite to them. I think they would love to talk about it.
And I will tell you that you can pass along the YouTube link or the iTunes link or the Google Play link. See, there's a lot of places that they can obtain this content.
I will pass it all off to them, and then they can come out here and say nice things about me.
See, exactly. That's well played. So you obviously travel a ton. Where are some of your favorite places to visit? And it doesn't have to be just work related. Maybe you found a place that's a secluded beach somewhere that you like, or a country that you like to visit. Like, where are some of your favorite places to travel?
Well, what's great about this job is that it does allow me to travel, and I've seen more of the United States than I have previously, which is great. As I mentioned to you, one of my favorite places to go in the States is Scottsdale, Phoenix. Love the desert.
Rub it in. I miss it. It's pouring down rain. Tell me more about how great it is there.
Sorry. Recently, I went on a 2-week vacation with my boyfriend to Indonesia, and that was a part of the world that totally surprised me in ways that are too many to count. And I was able to actually convert that into a bit of a work trip with a layover in Seoul, Korea. And there will be more of that coming in the weeks to come on golf.com. But no, I love to travel. I traveled a lot with my parents when I was younger. I'm an only child, so I was able to go on some really wonderful vacations with them, which was great. Europe is wonderful because you can sort of go and just get wherever you want for relatively no money if you want to do it that way. And if you don't, then you can spend and treat yourself. But man, I don't know. Japan is one of my favorite places in the world. I always said this to my family. When I graduated undergrad in 2012, I was looking for work, and I'd always said that if I'd found an English-speaking news job in Tokyo, I would go in a heartbeat. I loved that city. The people there, we've lost something, I think, in Western culture with some of the mutual respect, and I think that we could learn a few things from the Japanese. So I would love to go back there.
That's awesome. I've never been to Japan yet, so put that on the top of my list.
Yes, make it a priority.
Tell me about the Gals Got game. I don't know anything about that.
The Gals Got Game, that's fun. This is a fun thing to talk about because it's a really wonderful initiative. I was part of the Gals Got Game during my year in between my programs. I was looking for work and got connected with two wonderful women, Lali Rementia and Rika Shah, and they took me under their wing. They basically created this platform for women to engage with sports and use that in the professional world. So let's say you have a board meeting with a number of people who are hockey fans, and you've just watched Game 5, or they've just watched Game 5, and you want to know enough to walk into said boardroom and make a comment about the game or what's happening or whatever, just to sort of break the ice and sort of put people at ease. Because, you know, people will say that deals are made on the golf course and whatever, but really sports is a wonderful icebreaker to get people relaxed and talking about other things. And so the Gals Got Game's main mission was to give women what they needed to know in digestible form and have them take that and run with it. So whether it was just blog posts, which was just a recap of whatever game or news item that we had, or our 101s, which was like a course basically that you would sign up for, and you would get 6 emails sent to you about the rules of hockey and, you know, who are the main players and how can you get involved and things like that. So that was fun. I served as the associate editor of that for about a year, and I wrote long features for them, which was part of my passion. So really great project that's still going strong in Toronto. So it was something that's dear to my heart.
So I think I know why you got brought on the show, because you're from Canada and Eat Sleep Golf is from Canada, and I think there might be a tie there. A lot of our guests lately have been Canadian, so Scott, I got my eye on that. That's totally cool with me. So obviously you're a good storyteller. Now tell me a story that is a story that you might not have told many people, something that's like maybe not necessarily breaking news, but a story that you haven't told a lot of people.
Huh. Oh my gosh, would it put me on the spot? A story that I haven't told many people.
Something that's just, you know, it doesn't have to be golf related even. I mean, it could just be life in New York City. I am obsessed and I respect the hell out of what he does mentality. Casey Neistat is just enjoyable. Like, I could not care less about what he's doing, but I can't not watch his videos on YouTube. Like, that's how well they're put together. And more so 6, 8, 10 months ago, but I still, anytime he releases something, I have to watch it. But he's telling stories on a daily basis with his vlog, but there's got to be something about New York that's, you know, unique or.
Sure. Okay, here's one that's, it's a little bit more somber, but we'll work our way back up there. But it is a good story about New Yorkers. There's 8 million people in the city and how crazy connected you can become to somebody. It's a story I've told a few people, but I haven't super broadcasted it because it is something that's a little bit more sensitive. But obviously 9/11 changed a lot of people's lives in this city and around the world. And I remember where I was that day, as many people do. And so when I came to New York and I moved to New York for Columbia Journalism, that was something that was definitely, you know, learning to become a New Yorker and to appreciate New York as a New Yorker does. Back in 2011, I came and visited here. I decided to take a trip around Super Bowl weekend, and the World Trade Center memorial had just sort of been finished. There was still a ton of construction, but the actual pools were finished. And I went around and took some photos and paid our respects and left, and that was sort of it. And so I had this one photo that I would share every 9/11 as a commemorative post. And fast forward 3 years later, I'm doing a story for Columbia Journalism. And we had to go down to the World Trade Center. It was a breaking news thing where they were bringing the rest of the ashes of the unidentified victims to intern in the museum. And so we came to cover this and whatever, and we had to find some people to talk to, including family members and such. So I spoke with this one gentleman who was very, very gracious in having us hear his story and talk about this grief that he's still dealing with all these years later. And his name started to ring in my head, and I wasn't sure why it did. And so I went back and I looked through some of my photos and other posts from the year before, and he told a story about his wife who had been lost in the towers. And I looked at this photo, this one photo that I share every year, and it was her name. And I just got this, like, I can't believe that out of all of those people and the people that you meet in the city, that something about New York really connects the people who live here. And it's just, you wouldn't have believed me if I had told you this story anywhere else. But people who have experienced that kind of, you see someone on the subway you think you know, or you run into someone, or you meet friends that you didn't think were in the city. It's just things like that just really kind of get you, and it's totally, I think, a unique New York experience, for sure.
Wow, that is awesome. And as a blogger, I want you to write that as a blog post, because that is a fantastic story. So that is exactly what I was hoping for. It was a story that was definitely worth telling, and that is one that you should tell more people.
Thank you.
Now, I did tell you before we went live that this is going to fly by, and it did, and we're almost out of time. But before I let you go, we have this segment called the Back Nine. It's just 9 fun, random golf questions. So
awesome.
Are you ready for your Back Nine?
I'm ready.
Do you listen to music while you play golf?
No.
Really? Now, why is that? That's not one of the questions. I'm just curious, because a lot of people do.
So, I mean, I don't listen to it when I'm practicing. It depends on who I'm playing with. And I never am the one to pull out a phone and say, let's listen to music. It's usually with my dad and stuff, and we just like to talk. On our coworker outings, like sometimes we will if I'm paired with someone who's around my age. But it's never me. I'm never the one to like throw it out there because I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
Okay, I dig that. So when you're at Augusta, you're not blaring like 90s rap like that.
I was really tempted to just like absolutely like throw down the biggie and just be like, what up, Augusta? I'm here. Like, enjoy it.
That would have been awesome. So speaking of Augusta, what is your favorite hole at Augusta?
Oh, not the third, because that's where I was stuck in a bunker and carded a 12. I think 10. 10 is really cool. That the hill that goes all the way down, and then the elevated green, and it's beautiful, and you're sort of like, okay, I've got the front 9 behind me, and now I can start focusing on my game. Yeah, I like 10. I think it's beautiful.
Now, assuming you do, but based on your job, do you have a free subscription to Sports Illustrated?
I don't actually get it to my apartment because I can just pick them up at the office. So yes,
yeah, you do.
I guess. Yeah. It's like a yes. Yeah.
What golf ball are you currently playing, or since you've played Augusta, like what golf ball did you play at Augusta, I guess would be the question.
I had to play a Pro V1, right? That's like what you have to do.
So I play the Pro V1, and I'm this close to switching golf balls, and I can't. I don't think I can. I go back to the Pro V. Like, it's something about that ball. I don't know.
I like TaylorMades too. I had some TaylorMade Lady Burners that I liked, which I felt worked better with my game and my swing. But I've since lost those. So yeah, I'm back
to the Pro V. So don't say Bagger Vance, but what is your favorite golf movie?
Oh, Happy Gilmore. It has to be.
Absolutely. Thank you. That should be everyone's answer, going with that or Tin Cup. But Happy Gilmore, because it's just that much better. Like, it's just a little bit better.
Well, and I'm Canadian, and I have to have the hockey thing in there.
There you go. See that? All right. So Happy Gilmore it is. Who is your favorite LPGA Tour player, and why?
Ooh. This is so good. Currently, because she's Canadian and she's up and coming and has won a couple of times, and that's an easy cop-out answer, but it's hard to choose. All those women are so gracious, and they're so wanting to tell their stories. They're all so great. But yeah, Brooke is such a sweetheart. She really does love her fans in the game, and she's great to be around and to interview.
And she's from Canada. It all comes back to being from Canada.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of options in New York. but who has the best pizza in New York City?
Oh, artichoke, hands down. Artichoke pizza is something that you can only have every once in a while if you don't want to suffer a coronary, but it is so worth it. If you've never had artichoke pizza and the actual, like, not, they make a lot of great pizzas, but the actual artichoke pizza, then yeah, you haven't lived. It's so good.
I didn't even know that existed, and now I need one.
Yes.
So I mentioned earlier that I was going to bring Tiger up. He's watching you. He's listening. Do you think he breaks Jack's record? Why or why not?
You want me to be honest, or you want me to tell you something you want to hear?
If you want us to continue being friends, you tell me what I want to hear. No, I want you to be honest. I know I'm not going to like what you have to say, but go ahead.
I don't think that he's going to break the record. Do I think that he has something left in him? I think he's passionate enough for it. I think especially even over the last week, we've seen that he really does want to be out there. I think what we're more concerned about is just him getting healthy at this point. But no, I think Jack's record is safe. And I don't think Tiger should be ashamed of that at all. 14 majors is absolutely nothing to shrug about. So
let me preface that. If he comes back healthy as he's ever been, and he gets 5 more years, does that change your answer?
I don't think so, because I think that there's a difference between winning, obviously, and contending. And I think that he can contend for sure. Is he going to be able to convert 4 more times, 5 more times? I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, could he get 1 or 2? Okay, I'll give you that. We'll say 1 or 2 if he comes back healthy. Then I'm on the docket for that. You can take my money.
All right. Well, we had a guest on the hashtag Wednesday Match Play a few months ago, and he said if Tiger wins 1 more major, he breaks the record. That it's that 1 more just to get it off his back and to go back to winning major championships. So I'm gonna hold on to that. Like, I've never in my career of being Tiger's biggest fan been worried until I am right now. Like, I'm still there. I still think he's gonna do it. I still think he's gonna win. I think he's gonna win for another 6-8 years if he comes back healthy. You
and my colleague Josh should meet and chat, because I think you are in the same boat, and we're just trying to, nurture him along. And
now does he buy like tabloids that have Tiger's face on them? Because I do that. I collect his memorabilia, and I've got just Rubbermaid containers everywhere in my house. Like yesterday, I bought an Us Weekly because Tiger's mugshot was on it, and I'm like, I don't want to buy it, but his face is on it, so I have to have it.
Yeah, he does not. But one of my coworkers, one of our producers of the show, John, is the world's biggest Tiger fan, and he only wears Nike stuff. So it's similar. Like he's got his Nike red shirt, and he wears it on not Sundays, because I don't work on Sundays, but yeah, it's on show days. It's the red Nike shirt.
My car is red and black because Tiger wears red on Sunday, and I could not make that up. So I think these people that you're mentioning need to be in a conversation with me. And your final question of your hashtag Wednesday Match Play: what's next? I mean, you got a lot going on, but what's next?
Well, the U.S. Open, we're sort of full steam ahead with heading to Erin Hills, and then the rest of the majors kind of come quickly the rest of the summer. We've got some really fun episodes of Golf Today and Golf Live coming through the pipeline at golf.com. And, my team that I mentioned earlier, we're working hard to get all the best stuff to you guys. So it's never a dull moment at golf.com, and we're going to have a fun summer with it.
That's awesome. Well, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. This was awesome. I really enjoyed the conversation. It's been well over half an hour, and I feel like we could talk all night. But I cannot thank you enough for coming on the show. As always, the hashtag Wednesday Match Play is going to live on YouTube. It's going to be in the golf community. It's going to be on Facebook. It's going to be on Twitter. And I'm excited now because it's going to be on iTunes, and it's going to be on Stitcher, and it's going to be on Google Play, and it's going to be all over the place. So if you can, literally next week, I'm just going to hold Facebook Live and just do this like the whole time. That's if people watch it. But I can't thank you enough for coming on the show. That was awesome. It'll be shared all over the place in the next 24 hours. And as always, on the hashtag Wednesday Match Plays, you have to remember to eat, sleep, golf.